Hi everyone! Thanks for tuning in to week 5 of STEM Sundays with Emily. I can't believe it's already the end of January. I don't really know where the month went, but here's to February and all the new opportunities in store, especially for STEM activities. So as promised, today we're doing our Snap Circuits activity. So the last weekend of every month is going to be our Snap Circuits activity. So here's what it looks like. I purchased the junior box. It has 100 activities inside. I know that this brand makes other boxes, other kits that have 300 and I believe 500 activities in one box. So feel free to purchase whichever you'd like. I think for the purposes of this little web series, we're going to just need 100 activities. That's still probably more than we'll be able to cover over the next year, but feel free to purchase whichever you'd like and follow along with our videos today. So we're going to get started by opening up our kit and seeing what's inside. So there are a few things right on top that we're going to need that are very important. First being our map layout. So this is going to show you where each piece is located inside the box, and inside our project book, which we'll get to next, it'll describe exactly which piece is located where and how you can locate each one. So it's important that when you're using this kit, try to put the pieces back where you found them so that you can actually use this piece of paper and make sure you're grabbing the right piece for each activity. Put that to the side for now. Next, we have our project book. So this includes all 100 projects you're going to encounter in this kit, and each one is different from one another. So it really is 100 different projects all included in this one kit. So we'll get into this in a little bit, but I just want to explain to you what some of the pieces are and what we're going to do with the pieces inside here today. So the first and probably most important piece of this entire kit is this piece right on top. I'm gonna pull it out. There we go. So this is our plastic mat. See-through, as you can see, but this will be used in every single one of our projects that we do in this kit. So as you can see, maybe not here on screen, but there are these little like nubs, these little nubbies sticking out, and this is exactly why it's called Snap Circuits. So we have these little nubs, and then each of the pieces in our box have a snap on the very bottom. So you might be familiar with them if you have them on a jacket. They're on my purse actually. I think I have a backpack that has the little snap buttons, but that's how we're going to connect the pieces in the box to this mat. And that way you can pick up your mat, you can move it from place to place, and none of the pieces, for the most part, well, I'll explain one of them we're going to be using today, but for the most part, you'll be able to move your activities from one place to the other without anything falling off. So it's one of my favorite things about this activity and this kit in general is that all the pieces you put on are securely attached. So I'll set this to the side because we are going to need it for the activities we're doing today. Next most important is the battery. It's B1 if you're following along on your sheet. So here's what it will look like. It's not going to come with these two AA batteries. I had to put these in myself. I just found them at my local store, but you might have them laying around your house too. So 2 AA batteries will just be put right here in the battery itself, and this is going to also be included in every single project in the book. So without a source of electricity, which is the battery, you won't be able to power any of the activities. So this source of electricity, this battery, is so important and will be the source of electricity for every single project, especially the 2 we do today. So we'll put that right back in. Like I said, try and put things back exactly where you found them. And let's jump into the first project. All right, so I'm gonna do a little reorganization here, move our kit to my side, get our project book out. And the first couple pages of this book, they are important. There's a little parts list, how to use the kit in general. If you just followed along here, I think I gave a great intro as to what's going on in this kit. There are some do's and don'ts of building circuits, which might be a good thing to read through if you're a parent or if whoever's going to be supervising the children using this kit. Might be a good idea just to read through. We don't want anyone to get shocked or have any sort of catastrophes. Whenever you are working with electricity, there is the power or the, there's a possibility that things could go wrong. We're using very low voltage batteries and power supply here, so we shouldn't have any issues, but it is always a good idea to read up on the safety measures and make sure we know exactly what we're doing. I know that the projects as listed here in the book, if you follow step by step and make sure you're putting the pieces exactly as shown, we shouldn't have any issues, but always a good idea to know what to do and what not to do just in case something bad does happen. So speaking of our projects, we're going to be doing projects number 1 and 2 today. I figure might as well start out with the first projects, and they're also very fundamental concepts that I think children will be able to relate to in their houses. They'll be able to see these and say, oh, yep, I know exactly what this relates to because I do this every day. So let's get our project book out. Let's get our plastic mat. It is numbered at the top and lettered down the side. So I'm going to orient that so that my letters for me, my numbers are at the top, my letters are down the side, and let's get started. So the first project is learning about how using a switch to power a lamp works. So what happens when you have a lamp, you turn the switch on and you turn the switch off. What's going to happen to the light bulb inside of the lamp? So I don't know about you, but I probably turn my lights on and off in my apartment, has to be, 10 times, 50 times, a lot of times turning them on and off. And because I'm now paying for my own electricity, I'm learning the importance of turning my lights off when I'm not using them so that I'm conserving electricity but also saving a little bit of money. So it's a great concept for teaching children, as long as you have your switch on, electricity is going to keep flowing to power that light. So this activity is going to exactly demonstrate how a switch will turn the electricity or allow the electricity to pass through or stop it if the switch is turned off. So let's start first with our battery. That's going to be B1, battery B, B1 on our map layout if you want to find it on that piece of paper. So turn it this way. There's a plus, there's a minus, and your 2 batteries here. So any piece that has a plus sign or a minus sign or both, it's very important that we place it exactly as shown and as depicted here in the book. If we orient it upside down or backwards, it might cause the project to not work as it should or could be a safety concern. So we really want to make sure any piece that has a plus sign or a minus sign or both, we really want to make sure we're placing that exactly as shown so that we don't have anything bad go wrong. So we're going to place it with the plus sign up and in the top left corner. So according to our picture here, if you want to follow along, according to our picture here in our book, we're going to place the plus corner at C4. So following your numbering and lettering on our mat, going to place the top plus corner in C4. Here it's snapped in. So see, now that it's snapped in, you'll be able to move this all around and it's secured right on our mat. So we have our plus up, minus down, located at C4. So the next piece we're going to do is our blue connector piece. And as you can see, it's labeled with placement level numbers. So that'll show you which items are going on the first level, which items get connected to the second level. Some activities have third and fourth levels too. So this is one of the most basic ones since it is project number 1, but remembering to look at the placement numbers and make sure you're putting the right pieces on the right level is so important. So we are going to use this number 3 piece. So it's got 3 snaps on it, 1, 2, 3. There are connector pieces of all sizes. I believe it looks like 1 through 6. So depending on which activity you do, You might need a longer connector piece, a shorter connector piece, totally depends just based on the project. So to relate this to everyday life, this blue connector piece is similar to a wire. So going with the lamp scenario, if you have a table lamp, a floor lamp, that's always connected with a wire that gets plugged into your socket. So that wire is allowing electricity to flow from the socket through the wire to the lamp, to the light bulb. So that's all that this piece is doing, is allowing electricity to flow through it to get from one place to the other place. So because this doesn't have a plus or a minus sign, we could orient it with the 3 on the bottom, with the 3 on the top. I'm gonna orient it with 3 on the bottom just because, but feel free to put it any way you'd like. And that's going to be with the top snap located at C2. There we go. So all snapped in. I'll show you. So we have our battery, we have our connector piece. They are separated. C4 for this corner, C2 for this corner. All right, so now let's get to adding our fun pieces. So we'll start with the lamp. That's L1. This is what it looks like. And as you can see, there's this plastic dome-like structure, and underneath there's a tiny, tiny light bulb. You might not be able to see here in this video, but there is a tiny light bulb inside. So like any lamp, any light fixture, there's always a light bulb inside, and that's exactly what this piece is demonstrating. Again, there is no plus or minus sign, so we can orient it any way. I'm gonna orient it so we can read it so that the L1 is on my right side, if you're placing this on your right side too. So we'll place the L1 side into the plus corner of the battery, and the other side connects right onto the blue piece. Perfect. Okay, I'll show you guys that. So we have our plus side of the battery, plus corner, connected to the L1 side of the light, and the other piece connected right in to the blue piece. So you can see they are on 2 different levels. This is elevated a little bit just because it has to snap into the other 2 pieces. Now we only have one more piece left until we finish this first activity, which is our switch. So our switch looks like this. It should already be in the off position. If not, switch it to the off position before we plug it in to the mat. But this is what's going to be turning our lamp on and off. And we'll finish the loop of this circuit. So we're going to place it. Again, there's no plus or minus, but I'm going to orient it exactly as shown in the book just for safety reasons and to make sure that I'm just always using that as a rule of thumb. So the off side will be on the left, the on side will be on the right, and we'll put the off side into the blue piece, snap that right in, and the on will snap into the negative corner of the battery. Bam. There we go. So we have our switch, our connector piece, our light, and our battery. So now we're good to go and see what happens. So right now our switch is turned off, which means the electricity cannot flow through the switch and get to the lamp. So the light bulb can't turn on. But as soon as we turn the light on, or the switch on, see, the light turned on. So now with the switch on, it closes the loop and gives you a constant flow of energy flowing from the battery. I'll show you up here. From the battery, through the switch, through the connector piece, to the light. And now there's a constant flow of electricity through the circuit. Now as soon as you turn your switch off, it breaks the loop. It makes a little bend in the loop and does not allow the electricity from the battery to flow anywhere past the switch, because the switch is now creating this gap in the loop. But as soon as you turn it on, the light will turn on because electricity is now allowed to flow through the switch and get to the light. So that's exactly how it works at home. when you're using a switch to turn your lights on and off, as soon as you flip the switch on, it creates that loop that you can flow electricity through, and it can get to your light bulb. But as soon as you turn the switch off, it basically stops the electricity from flowing, it cuts it off, and that way it cannot flow any further. So let's turn it off and move on to project number 2. So there's only one thing we have to change from this current setup to get project number 2. We're going to take off L1, it's at the top. Again, make sure that your switch is turned off before you do this. Always a good rule of thumb. And we're going to find the M1 piece. Looks like this. This is a motor, and this is going to be powering our fan blade. So if you guys are familiar with fans, I know I use them a lot in the summertime to reduce the amount of air conditioning that I'm using. So you might have a stand-up fan, you might have a window fan, or even the fans on those squirt water bottles. Those are always fun. I had those growing up as a kid. All works the same way. There's a little motor that powers the fan to turn on and turn off. So as you can see on the M1 piece, there is this plus sign, which means we have to be very careful how we place this. Otherwise, the activity might not work, or we could have some consequence of that we just don't want to encounter. So according to our book, the plus sign is going to be in the top right corner. So in order to place it correctly, we want to make sure that our plus sign on the motor, the M1 piece, is connected to the plus side of the battery. 2 pluses should be right together. We'll snap that in. And the other side goes into the blue connector piece. Perfect. Okay, so I'll show you guys. So we have our plus side of the motor snapped right into the plus side of the battery. Now they're all connected again. So I mentioned that most of the pieces here are going to be secured onto the mat so that you can move this around, bring it from place to place, and the pieces won't fall off. But using the fan blade, it's right at the middle of our kit, it looks like this. This is not secured on as well, and it doesn't snap onto any feature, it just gets placed on top of the blade here on the motor. So we want to make sure that when we do this project, to keep the mat on a table, I'm going to be lifting it up to show you guys, but I would recommend keeping it flat on a table. If you have multiple children trying to look at it, maybe do it in groups so that they can get up close, or just do it very controlled, have an adult move this, but we don't want to lose our fan blade, we don't want to break our fan blade, and we just want to be very careful when using this piece since it's not secured down. So it does have these little notches in the bottom. It might be hard to see here, but we are going to line these up with the blade on the motor. Okay, perfect. So that's on. Excuse me. There we go. So we're going to make sure that this is on correctly. Again, I'm just doing this to show you guys, but I'd recommend keeping this flat on a table so we don't ruin this piece. So now we're going to turn the fan on and off using the switch. So as you can see, the blade is not moving, it's staying very still. You might be able to hear it too when we turn the fan on. So let's see. We'll turn the switch from on to off, or off to on, other way around. From off, now it's going to be turned on. I think you should be able to hear that the fan is on. I can feel the fan. I put my hand right up top here. I'm going to very carefully lift it and get it closer to the camera so you can see that the fan blade is moving. Carefully set it back down and turn the switch off. And you can see and hear that the fan blade is now not moving anymore because the switch is turned off. So it works the same way as the light. When we turn the switch on, it allows the electricity to move and power the motor to turn the fan. As soon as we turn the switch off, it breaks that loop, that electric loop, that circuit, and electricity is now no longer able to reach the motor to turn the fan on. So one more time, I'll just turn it on for you guys So you can see here, fan blade not moving, fan blade now moving, producing air, spinning, and we'll turn it off. And you can see it come to a stop. So those are our 2 projects. Again, very easy, only using the 4 or 5 different items from our kit, and a great way to introduce children to switches, how they work, why it's important to keep them turned off if you're not using them, and a great introduction to our Snap Circuits kit in general. So before we wrap up, I did want to let you know the bloopers video of my cat interrupting my videos is going to be posted this week. Hopefully it'll put a smile on your face and make you laugh and just bring February in on a humorous note. And next week, I thought it would be a good activity. It's not quite so technical or hands-on, but introducing students to different STEM careers. So now that we've gone through a few activities related to STEM, I thought it might be a great idea to introduce students to different career paths that they could pursue in the future. So I've talked a little bit about being a civil engineer and building bridges, and that's one facet of civil engineering, but there are so many other careers having to do with STEM, and I'm going to create a bingo board that I'll link with the video that you can use to create your own bingo boards and share with your students or your children, and come up with little bingo clues and have them play a game, but also learn about different STEM careers in the process. So that'll be next week's activities, so you don't need to bring anything other than a marker, and download the bingo board attached to the video next week, and that'll be the activity that we do. I'll go through a few of the STEM careers and maybe explain some of my favorite ones or STEM careers that my friends are in and what they're doing too. So that'll be next week, our first STEM Sundays with Emily of February. Can't believe it, already the 2nd month of 2021. I just want to thank you guys again for the feedback, for the comments, and I can't wait to see how you guys do with the first few projects of Snap Circuits. So I'll see you guys next week. Happy February. Bye.